this video, I'll be walking you through what is in my opinion the best start in Fallout 4. I will say though that from the start this is not going to be one of those best start videos that show you how to get instantly overpowered by running halfway down the map to get a weapon that you will use for the rest of the game. Instead, I will show you a route around Sanctuary to help you get a bunch of items and resources that will help you start your journey. And so without any further delay, let us begin. During the introduction to Fallout 4, you will be required to pick your starting special, which will dictate how good you are at certain things, as well as which skills you can even get. For this, there is no right or wrong answer, as it all depends on what type of character you are making. But in case you really do not know where to put your starting points, then I will put some templates in the description for a variety of different builds. Also, do remember that you will have bobbleheads, the special book, and the option to use skill points to increase the special stats in the future. Personally, I like to go with what you can see on screen right now. I like to go for 10 intelligence, as the higher it is the more XP you get from everything, which in return will allow me to get skill points at a faster rate. The other main focus for my character is the charisma. The reason I have this at 6 is because I can get this up to 11 with some clothing, which will then guarantee that speech checks succeed 100% of the time. If you make a mistake or you change your mind, then don't worry, as there will be one more chance to change them when coming out of the vault. Speaking of the vault, when you wake up inside, make sure to open your wife's cryopod and then interact with her body, as you will be given her wedding ring. Then when making your way through the vault, take every item that you can find, including the radroach meat, which we can use later on. Most items are easy to find, just make sure to check the floors and all containers. Also, for those who like to collect unique items, if you use the terminal in the cafeteria, you can eject the holotape game called Red Menace. You may also notice the cryolator that is locked behind a case. I will show you how to get this near the end of the video, and this will be the closest thing in the video to being considered overpowered. But I am including it because it is difficult to find ammo for it, so it's not really that OP. Finally, when in the room where you get the Pip-Boy, if you turn left when you enter, you can find some more 10mm ammo, as well as a new vault jumpsuit. Now that we have left the vault, turn around and you will find 3 yellow crates containing some items. There will also be 2 small interior boxes that have some things like junk and ammo. So before we start the route, you will first need to go to Sanctuary and get a bobby pin, which we will need. It can be found just in this suitcase when entering across from the small wooden bridge. Because we'll be collecting so much stuff, you will get over encumbered a few times. When that happens, just travel back to Sanctuary and store everything in the workshop. Now you can loot Sanctuary if you wish to, but I like to do that at the end. Anyway, at this point, we can start the route. So when you are ready, head south from the workshop to leave Sanctuary. When you see the water, follow it west and you will come across an abandoned APC that has some ammo and medical supplies. There are some radiation barrels, but you will be completely fine. There will also be some bloatflies and blood bugs in the area, so after you take care of them, make sure to harvest their meat. Also, from this point on, make sure you harvest any plants that you find. Hubflower, bloodleaf, siltbean, it doesn't matter. If you can harvest it, then do it, as it will be used in crafting later on. Moving on, our next location is this camp that is under the transmission tower. Around here, there should be a group of raiders, and so after you've dealt with them, take all of their gear for selling or personal use. The camp itself has some junk, food items, and a bed if you need it. If you travel further west, you will see some burning tyres. Go past them and you will find a blue tarp which has some medical supplies. A little ways south from the blue tarp is a small concrete camp that once belonged to a raider, but he has been killed by a pack of wild mongrels. Along with a bunch of items that you can get here, there is a suitcase with 3 pieces of raider armour. After you've looted all these places that are extremely close together, come here on the map and you'll find a trader's shack near a pond. You can do some selling to the trader if you wish to do so, however, they won't have many caps. But to not make this journey a waste, head inside the shack and steal everything you can find. If you do end up getting caught though, the trader will most likely attack you, so be aware of that. When you are done here, head directly north towards this transmission tower and go past it. There you will find a small shed surrounded by some plants that you can harvest. The shed itself has a novice locked door, and that is why you need a bobby pin. I'm guessing you will probably have only a couple of bobby pins, so make sure to quick save before attempting to open the door. Once inside, take all of the items and then travel east and go up to the top of this hill that is overlooking the vault entrance. You'll find a small outlook that has some water, which is useful for both survival mode and crafting. We will then need to go to the other side of Vault 111 and go here on the map. When you arrive here, you will find a raider and their dog companion that will attack you on sight. Inside you will find the body of a settler, a chem box, some ammo and some junk items. Then head south towards the water and pick up the stim pack that has been put into the mannequin. The next stop is located here on the map, and when you begin to get close to it you will hear some gunshots. This is because this location is a scavenger doing some target practice on some bottles. Now even though their name is Scavenger, they will still attack you if you get too close, so just go up to them and deal with them any way you see fit. Once they are dealt with, you can find a toolbox, 45 ammo and some other items that can be sold. Don't forget to go over to the targets and loot the bottles. If the scavenger actually hit anything, then some of them may be on the floor. After this, if you go around the left side of the rock, there will be some more food and meat for you to take. Taking the meat is always good because when we craft it, we are given XP for doing it and it all adds up. This location has a few nice items for you to take early, but one of the items is quite heavy, so you may need to go back to Sanctuary after this. If you enter through the back gate like I did, then turn left and there is a box with a fusion core that I am pretty sure is guaranteed. Then just round the car near the back of the fence is a Fat Man, which is the heavy item. We currently have no ammo for it, but if you head towards the entrance and look to the left, then there is one mini nuke near the tyres. Inside of the main building you can find some medical supplies, some bits of junk, a hot rodder magazine, and if you go onto the terminal you can eject a holotape. The holotape allows you to activate the sentry bot outside and you will have two options. Firstly, you can engage the defense protocols, which allows you to send the robot to one of 4 locations for it to clear out the enemies for you. The other choice, and the one I made, was to initiate the self-destruct. The reason I did this was because after it detonates, you can loot it for some easy early game fusion cores, which are used in power armor. After you are done here, head east and you will find a dry lake bed. In the middle will be some sort of nest that has a few dead settlers and a duffel bag. Looting the settlers is always profitable because they always have a decent amount of caps on them. If you go a little ways northeast from the nest, you will find a metal tent that has 2 more dead settlers. One will be in the bathtub and the other will be in the barrel. The next stop is directly east from here and there will be a small metal shack that has a scavenger living here. After you've dealt with him, you are free to steal all of the items that they have. This is the furthest we are going east, so it is time now to wrap back around. I do recommend fast travelling back to Sanctuary and dropping off literally everything you don't need, because the next major location will be heavy on your encumbrance. However, I do recommend keeping your fusion cores, because if you come here on the map you will find some power armor. The parts on it will be random but also dependent on your level, so it is possible to get just the power armor frame. Around the crashed vertibird is an ammo box and a crate containing some items. Now my character isn't going to be using power armor, so I just fast travelled back to Sanctuary to store it. If you do this, make sure to take out the fusion core, because when you get settlers in the area they may take the armor for themselves. This next location is by far the largest in the video, and that is the satellite station Olivia, which can be found here on the map. I like to come here early on in the game as it has tons of useful items such as a fusion core, a mini nuke, and the most important in my opinion, the covert operations manual that improves your sneaking abilities. I do have a few tips for this location. Firstly, when you come down the stairs, make sure you disarm the tripwire and the trap that will be on the ceiling, as it will give you some XP but also items. If you have enough points in intelligence and have a perk point, then get the first level of the hacker perk, so you can unlock this terminal for some additional XP. The terminal will allow you to get into the intel room early, but if you don't have the skill then don't worry, as we can still get into the room in just a moment. If you are playing on the easier difficulties like I was in this video, then you don't really need to worry about this being a challenge. However, if you are playing on the harder difficulties, then make sure to be a bit more careful, as a few of the enemies have shotguns, but also the main boss of the area has a minigun. Make sure to be extremely thorough and pick up everything, as almost all items have a value or can be used in other ways. If you do run out of carry weight, then just store some items in a container, leave the building and then go back to Sanctuary and drop off all the items. Then come back and continue looting. In this toolbox, just before the locked door that leads into the last room, there is a locket that is quest related. You can pick it up now if you wish to do so, but if you want to come back and get it another time, then just leave it here. Finally, in the last room in this toolbox, there will be the key that will allow you to get into the intel room, which has a bunch of useful items. After you are done here, go back to Sanctuary and drop everything off, but I recommend bringing some Rad-X and Radaway that will be useful in just a moment. Once you are ready, come here on the map. This is where we are starting the lap around the lake, as well as going in the lake for some items. We will be starting right here at this dock. There will be a few items here, but then go to the other side of the water and follow the coastline around. The first location along the coast is a bucket and suitcase, which will have some armor pieces inside, and just near it will be some leather armor pieces. You may already have all these items and are probably wondering why you should pick them all up, while all of the extra ones can be sold for some caps at vendors in the future. Anyway, carrying on up the coast, you will see some glowing fungus and some Mirelurk eggs. 2 Mirelurk eggs will pop out of the water, so defeat them as well as any of the eggs that happen to hatch. Once they are dealt with, take the meat and the rest of the eggs that didn't hatch. Continuing up the coast, you will find a water pump and pipe that is going up the hill. Firstly, open the circuit breaker lid and flip the switch. Once that is done, follow the pipe up the hill and open the yellow lid. From the lid, there will be 3 cap stashes, and right next to it there will be a few items including a 44 pistol, some junk, and on top will be some aid items for you to use. From here, just carry on going up the coast until you see a dock. loot the items in the cooler, and then pop a Radex, because we now will be swimming across the lake towards the beached boat on the other side. In the boat will be a few items, and so after you've looted them, jump into the water and take a dive, as there will be 3 boxes for you to loot. Firstly, there will be a wooden crate, and then a little way east there will be a steamer trunk that has a novice lock on it. Once you have looted that, go back to the dock that we was just at, and under it will be a first aid box with some medical items. The next location we are going to is the Red Rocket. You'll find Dogmeat, who can now carry some of your items for you. Whilst you wait for the mole rats to attack you, go around and loot every item you can find within the interior and exterior of the gas station. Then go around the back to find the cave entrance that goes underneath the Red Rocket. Inside you will find tons of brain fungus to harvest, as well as a safe and a bunch of other items to take. Once outside, head up to the water tower that is pretty much straight ahead on top of the hill. At the base of it there is some supplies to take, and then to the left there is a trunk in a shallow grave to loot. After that, go to the start of the bridge that leads into Sanctuary and loot the body on the floor, then go up to the statue to loot the duffel bag. Now that is essentially it, except for a few more things in Sanctuary and the vault. Here on the map at the back of the house is a root cellar. Inside there are a lot of items to take, including gold bars that can sell for a good price. The safe in here requires a perk point into the lockpick skill in order to open it. On the roof of the house that the cellar is connected to, there is a duffel bag containing some more things. After this, go back to your house, pick up the Grognak comic from the kitchen table, and then go into Sean's room and interact with the special book. This will allow you to put 1 point into any special of your choice as long as it is not already maxed out. After you are done in Sanctuary, make your way back to the cryolator in the vault, but make sure you have Dogmeat with you. In order to get the cryolator without the master pit locking perk, just go inside the room with Dogmeat, close the door, then interact with him, press talk and then press fetch. He will grab it through the case and you can get it from his inventory. So what do you do with all these gained items? Well, to put it simply, you can sell or scrap any weapons or armor you don't use. Sell the chems if you're not going to use them, as they are good money. Put all your junk in the workshop for later use, and finally take all the meat and flowers and use them for crafting to get easy XP. If you have any other tips, please leave a comment down below. Anyway, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.